What's up, Walking Dead fans? This is Drew's review for a review for Walking Dead Season 6 premiere. And it was pretty good. I will say it wasn't as amazing as previous premieres, especially last year's No Sanctuary. That was definitely the best premiere in the whole show for me. But this premiere was pretty solid for the most part. There were some things I didn't like, which I didn't expect from what we saw in the trailers. But anyways, let's talk about this review. There will be spoilers in this review, so spoiler warning, last chance, don't look away. If you don't care, oh well, whatever. Spoiler warning, you've been warned. Okay. So this episode takes place a few days after the events of the season 5 finale, which were some crazy events that happened, and Rick had to eventually put down Pete because he was just too crazy, and he needs to be taken in control and in charge of things now. So he is, and this episode basically saw the group all evaluating their situation and what they have to do, what they have to change, and it was shown in a very interesting way because the very first 4 minutes of the episode was shown in a flash forward scene to a gigantic, monstrous herd of walkers, which is what we're going to be seeing later on. It's kind of setting up a storyline that comic fans may be familiar with, and it's very exciting. But this episode didn't really get to that action. It was more of a build up and a setup for what's to come in the next few episodes. So that's what this episode was about, and it's kind of a little bit of frustrating because I feel like it kind of killed the momentum a bit when they were showing a scene where they're up to date, and then they would show a flashback scene, and it was kind of, I just found a little buggy and annoying that all the flashback scenes were in black and white. At first I was really annoyed, but then you get used to it and you're like, okay, you accept it for what it is because this whole episode is full of flashbacks and flash forwards. So the time jump goes back and forth in the storytelling. So we also got to see the introduction of some new characters, Heath, Carter, and a few others. And I will say that Carter, he had a whole story arc which only lasted this one episode because he was killed off, brutally bitten in the face by Walker at the end, and that's what happened. So his character didn't agree with Rick. He was gonna be that conflict, and instead he was killed off at the end, and that was very dark and just wow. I was surprised. I didn't expect that. But Morgan returned, and he was in the episode a lot as he should have been, and it was very satisfying to see his character return and have a full role as he did in the first episode. And he's really part of the group now. I feel like this episode did a lot with character balance time. I feel like every character got the perfect amount of screen time and the story deserved. I do think that next episode is going to be crazy and go bigger, and the stakes are going to be higher. But this episode was a real good setup. It was pretty. The first 4 minutes were awesome, and every scene that was flash forward was awesome. So that gives a big plus for me. And probably the best scene of this episode was when Glenn, Heath, and Nick were shooting out those walkers in that random building that they let them out. So yeah, that was really good, and I think that was probably the best scene. And overall, this episode was good. It was a good season premiere. It wasn't the best, but I'm really really excited and looking forward to see what season 6 has to offer. That is a shit ton of walkers. That is probably the most impressive thing about the episode. Like, damn, that's a lot of walkers. It's insane. I cannot believe it. Like, it's like 4 or 5 years ago, you would never imagine a TV production could bring this many walkers and zombies on screen, but now they can because The Walking Dead is so big and popular and successful and super exciting. That alone raised the episode much, much higher than if it didn't have that, then it would have been just a mediocre episode. But this episode was good and it was great nonetheless. It has me excited for Walking Dead. It could have been a little better in the way they told the story. Instead of having flashbacks, they could have just showed it all in the beginning and then show the scene at the end. But I was fine. Like, it doesn't affect the whole season because it's kind of a build up for the next episode, and it leaves you with such an annoying and like nail biting cliffhanger that you just can't wait to see what happens next. And that's what's great about The Walking Dead. So, Walking Dead episode 601 for me gets an 8 out of 10. It was a great episode. It wasn't one of the best season premieres, but it was exciting nonetheless. And I hope you like what you see. More Walking Dead news coming this way. This is my first ever Walking Dead review, so this is kind of a special video for me because that's my favorite show, and I never reviewed any of the other episodes because I didn't start my channel yet. But I think one day I'll go back and just review the seasons one by one and catch up. But this is it for my review, and I'll see you guys. Have a great night. It's time to watch Talking Dead.